hands on the counter. Life's a hazy blur. Late nights in the city, cat and clock both blur. She's dreaming under streetlights, it's a fragile dance. Snippets of tomorrow in her one-night stands. Morning breaks the dawn, brings echoes of her tears. Empty chairs and silence whispered in her ears. She chases down the daylight like a desperate thief. Coffee in her veins now, chasing fleeting grief. In the heart of the city, she's a ghost in flight, brewing dreams and shadows neath the neon light. Caffeine and chaos, in her veins they flow, searching for a heartbeat in the afterglow. Searching for a heartbeat in the afterglow.
I've heard many times where it said that people actually waste their money on supplements because they don't get absorbed, they go straight through the system, and it's just money literally down the toilet. And I don't really agree with that. Based on my own personal experiences, I do think obviously you'll get some rubbish brands. It's like with anything, any foods, any shampoos, body creams, you're going to get the good brands and the bad brands. But is it a waste of money? It can depend on some factors. The one thing being on your own personal health. What is your your gut? How healthy is your gut? Obviously, if you don't have good gut health, you're not absorbing pretty much anything. If you look at the foods that you eat, I mean, forget about supplements, just eating good foods, you're not going to be absorbing the right nutrients that you should be absorbing. So that's the one factor, is gut health. The other factor will also be on the quality of what you're taking, and that can be so difficult to know whether, I mean, you obviously get the expensive brands, which you then presume are good quality. And then you get unknown brands, you don't know, like, is it good, is it not good? You know, are you wasting your time buying it? And it's something I've been doing, you know, like buying supplements and just hoping for the best. And obviously, you know, if you're taking supplements and then you go to the loo, yeah, and you can see that, you know, your urine is looking like luminescent yellow, which can occur when you're taking vitamin C and other supplements. And then you think to yourself, yeah, there goes all my vitamins. It can be besides gut health. It can also be the fact that maybe there are certain supplements that your body isn't needing right now. For example, with vitamin C, your body obviously uses more vitamin C when you are fighting an infection than, you know, a normal healthy day. So if you're taking a lot of vitamin C and your body doesn't need it, it is going to flush it out. My personal opinion is that a lot of the stuff I take is actually doing some good. And the reason I have come to this conclusion is because of personal experience. As I've said before in another video, I had quite a bad underarm infection under both my arms. So this infection started coming up in 2020, and it was reoccurring every couple of months, and every time it came up, I tried a whole bunch of natural remedies to try and clear the infection. And things weren't working. I'd have to go into antibiotics eventually, until the one day I came across a video that was saying about when we have infections, our bodies can use up to 20 times the vitamin C than when you're healthy. And I realized, whenever I had these infections, I was having vitamin C, but I wasn't having super high doses. I was having maybe 4,000, 5,000 milligrams. So I increased it to 15,000 milligrams a day. And if you know anything about vitamin C, you know that vitamin C in high doses can cause runny tummies. And if you're taking high doses and your tummy isn't running, it's because your body is using it and because your body needs it. I was taking 15,000 milligrams a day. I was spreading it out over the day because your body if your body needs the vitamin C, it can use the vitamin C up within 2 to 3 hours. So I needed to make sure I was spreading it out. And 15,000 milligrams a day, my tummy was not running, which means my body was using the vitamin C. And so I started doing that, and lo and behold, and this is a normal shop brand. This was a no name, like a no name brand, but the shop, obviously the shop just slaps their own name onto it. I wasn't even sure, is this going to do anything? Because it was, just a typical shop brand. Lo and behold, the infection started clearing up within about 3 to 4 days. I noticed a difference, and it's a matter of you've got to hold out. If you want to go natural, you're going to have to hold out. Going natural, you're not going to get fast results. It takes a long time for us to wreck our bodies, and it's going to take a while for our bodies to remedy the damage that we've done. And so, if you're looking for a quick fix, then you go to the pharmacy, you take something that might help, or it might just mask, symptoms. But it took about 3 to 4 days, and the infection started clearing up. It was the first time I did not have to go into antibiotics. It cleared up on its own. While in the past I'd taken other things as well with it, black seed oil and manuka honey and all these other things. It was the vitamin C alone which cleared up this infection that I was having under my arms, which is a staph infection. So it was bacterial. And after 3 to 4 days, I noticed that I couldn't tolerate 15,000 milligrams as much anymore. I had to reduce it to 11. Shortly after that, I had to reduce it to 9 because the infection was clearing, and now my body didn't need all that vitamin C as much anymore. So what about other things like collagen? Collagen is something that is quite popular to take, and I've recently had a very positive experience with that as well. About 3 months ago, I was using the gym at the park here where I am. The way I used to run to the park in the mornings, and then I used to like to use the gym equipment. And then the one morning when I was doing pull-ups, you're on the machine where you use your own weight, and I noticed my elbow on my right arm was aching a little bit. And I was just like, okay, just a bit of an ache, left it. But I noticed it was getting worse. even when I was, I'd boil the kettle, and then when I'd lift the kettle to pour the hot water to make some coffee, it like really hurt. And some days I would have to switch arms and use my left arm to lift up the kettle. Even pulling a door open at work, I have to use my left arm. And it got to the stage one day, it was actually, my arm was aching so much the whole day. I went to the health shop and bought, I think it might have been devil's claw or something like that, that's supposed to help with pain. I bought myself some curcumin tablets. I must admit, I've never really noticed any benefit taking curcumin supplements. Like I said, it's not necessarily that it was a bad brand, but my body just really didn't seem to gain much benefit from it. Other people might. I do gain much benefit from vitamin C, but not so much curcumin. But I was taking them anyway because I also understand that you're not always going to feel different taking something, but it doesn't mean it's not working. So I'm cool just taking it anyway. I got myself an elbow brace just to try and help alleviate some pressure. But the one day though, even when I was at work, I couldn't even eat breakfast because it involved, so my arm was bending to cut food, and then to try and bend it even further to bring the fork up to my mouth. It was actually super painful. So I'd push my plate away so that I could stretch my arm to cut the food, and then I'd use my left hand. And I was starting to get a bit concerned. Like, why is this hurting for so long? And I went online, and the closest that I could see what was wrong with my elbow was tendonitis. Everything else just didn't match. Tendonitis matched. I'm like, okay, maybe I just heard it when I was gymming, and it said it can take a couple of weeks. At this stage, it was about 6 weeks. I'm thinking, how long is a couple of weeks? To me, 6 weeks is long enough that it should start feeling better, and it wasn't. 8 weeks down the line, it still wasn't. It still wasn't feeling better at all. It was the same. It kind of felt like it was in the joint, but at the same time, it was spreading a bit to my upper and lower arm around the elbow. And so I decided I'm going to try some collagen powder, and I bought some online from a company called hunter&gather. It's not so much necessarily the brand. I was intrigued by getting it from these people purely because it's a couple in the UK that really care about good health and things like that, which I like. Sometimes I just don't like getting from these big corporates. You don't know what they do with the products. Do they really care about the people? But Hunter and Gather, yeah, they seem pretty sound. Anyway, so I ordered my first 2 bags. Like the one bag of collagen is supposed to last a month, and actually I was giving it to myself and to my husband, and it was lasting so long. I was very, very impressed. So I was having it twice a day. I'd have in my coffee in the mornings, I would have in some warm milk at night before going to bed. Then I decided to increase to 3 times a day. And it was after a couple of weeks I actually noticed my elbow was starting to feel so much better. I've been on the powder for about 2 months now, on the collagen for about 2 months, and my arm is almost perfectly sound. A couple of weeks ago, sometimes I felt like I needed to bend it, like having it straight was sore, and then other times I needed to straighten it because having it bent was sore. Even now, if I do this, I can feel some slight ache on the elbow if I turn my arm like this, but that's it. I no longer have that real excessive ache. So again, I don't know if the brand has much to do with it, or if it's just the fact that it's just collagen, and the collagen has helped so much. It's actually been such a relief, because at one point it was just, my arm was just sore all the time. I'd wake up and I'm just lying dead still, but I could just feel my arm was aching. So yes, definitely had good results using collagen powder. So just getting back to the vitamin C, it just goes to show you don't necessarily have to go out and get a brand that's a name brand, because you are paying money for the name of the brand. It can be just trial and error. So at least I know now that the vitamin C I'm taking is working. My body is obviously absorbing it, which is great. The collagen powder I'm taking, I know it's working. That's great. And like I said before in another video about things that have definitely, natural products which have definitely worked for me, Echinoforce droplets. If I'm taking Echinoforce droplets before the flu season starts, I just don't get the flu. I've just never gotten the flu, except on one occasion where I was taking Echinoforce droplets that I'd bought here in Ireland. Even though it's the same brand, it's Evogel, the same brand that you get in South Africa, when I had a look on the box of the Evogel in Ireland versus the Evogel in South Africa, identical looking boxes, but there is a difference. I don't know, like the ingredients are just slightly different, and so I do not find the Echinoforce, the Evogel Echinoforce droplets that you buy here in Ireland to be as good as in South Africa. So whenever anyone from South Africa is coming over to visit and they ask can they bring anything, I will always just ask them just to bring a bottle of the Evogel droplets for me, because that's brilliant. If I'm taking that, I feel very confident. I've got absolutely no problem being around anyone that's got the flu or the sniffles or anything like that, because I'm very confident that these droplets, the Echinoforce droplets, is doing its job and it's keeping me healthy, and I just will not get the flu at all. Not even a sniff. At the moment, I've got a little bit of a sniff, but it's only because it's 10 degrees today and I rode my bike here to the park, went to the mini market coffee shop and got myself a nice coffee. So yes, as we all know, the cold air does that to you, makes your nose run. But no, I'm not sick. I'm actually feeling great at the moment, especially with my arm being so much better. You don't really appreciate good health until you've lost it for a while. And good health isn't just necessarily in your system. It's not just the internal mechanics. It can be things like, you know, obviously having sore joints and things like that. And even, I'll do another video on it another time. Also, do you ever have issues with your jaw clicking or waking up and your jaw has locked? That's called TMJ, temporomandibular joint disorder. That's what I've got. And I went through a horrendous time with this in March this year. It was really, really bad. And I don't think it was just the TMJ that was the problem. And this is another reason why I can say that taking supplements, like your body does absorb it, because I was taking a very good, highly recommended supplement. And this supplement was actually very detrimental to my health. It actually caused such terrible issues. It coincided with the TMJ. It actually caused a lot of depression, a lot of crying. I couldn't stop crying for anything. Literally, I went to make dinner and I said to my husband I was going to make mince with pasta, and he asked like, oh, the pasta shells? And I said, yes, the pasta shells. And I went to the cupboard and I opened up and there weren't any pasta shells. There was only the penne pasta. And I just immediately started crying. And I was just sitting there on top of the stairs. My husband said, like, what's wrong? I'm like bawling my eyes out, like, we don't have the pasta shells. And he's got his arms around me, and I was crying at the drop of the hat for anything. And I think my poor husband went through quite a traumatic time. I mean, I thought I was going through trauma. It was traumatic for him as well. And it turned out that this highly recommended supplement, I was taking it in doses that were recommended, but it turned out that I was kind of poisoning myself with it. And as soon as I stopped taking it, within about 2 days, I was feeling so much better. I did start introducing it again, but I started introducing it in lower doses. But I'm going to do another video on that one to just let you know what I was doing for my health that was actually ruining my health to the point where I'd pretty much lost the will to live for no other reason than I was just became super depressed. So that's an example of how something is definitely being absorbed. Like, it was obviously working against me at that time, but I knew it was obviously going into my system. Yeah, so not a great time in March this year. It's really been a rubbish year this year, health-wise. So I'm going to leave the video here just to say that, yes, supplements can go right through you. You can see that obviously when you go to the loo, and you can see the color difference. But I do not believe that they're a waste of money if you're taking the right things at the right dose for yourself. Well, I take the right dose for myself. I've learned what doses are good for me with certain things, and I will continue to supplement because I have seen positive and negative results in what I'm taking. So yeah, I mean, I'll be interested to hear if you're watching this video, if you've had any experience, if you've taken things and you're like, it doesn't work for you, or if you can also say, yes, I've taken things and it's worked. I mean, there's so many things. Like I said, I've taken turmeric and curcumin and even like garlic. I love garlic, which is anti-inflammatory, but it's not that I've taken it and I've noticed any changes with things like that. And I'll continue to take it. But those are just a few items that supplements that I've taken that I've definitely noticed. Some of, like Hunter and Gather, I think it's a good brand. No, I'm not like getting paid for saying that, because there could be other good collagen brands, even no-name brands that could be good for you. I don't know. All I know is this one, because this is the one that I'm taking at the moment. And now I'm taking it regularly. I've got one of those standing orders. I've already got my next two bags, so I've got enough collagen to last me to the end of the year. And like I said, vitamin C, it's just the shop brand name, and it works. I take the vitamin C where the one tablet is 1,500 milligrams, so I take like 2 of those. I take vitamin C 4.5 to 6,000 milligrams a day, and it's perfectly fine for me. And the moment, like, even if I can feel like I've got a bit of infection on a tooth or my gum's a bit inflamed, I'll just increase my vitamin C dose and it goes away. So I know the vitamin C definitely works for me. So I'd love to hear from you, your experience with supplements, what you've heard, what you found works for you, what doesn't work for you. And I'll see you in the next video. So bye for now.